Children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder commonly exhibit problem behaviour in class, which teachers often struggle to manage due to a lack of knowledge and skills around classroom management strategies. Charlotte is a Year 9 student with ADHD who consistently causes classroom disruptions, is quick to anger and rarely follows instructions, leading to incomplete classwork. Charlotte spends a lot of her class time outside of the room or arguing with her teachers, causing hers and her peers learning to suffer.
He's done a great job.
This is stupid, sir. Why'd she get a stamp?
I want to see some work from you, Charlotte. Show me your
Sir,
work. Charlotte,
On the playground, Charlotte acts similarly, but with less consequence, as during lunch and recess, it's more acceptable for children to be loud and rambunctious. While having less consequence, Charlotte may throw objects at fellow peers in what could be fun-spirited or spiteful, and it is often difficult for teachers to constantly keep an eye on her to stop these issues. Here, Charlotte's inability to follow teacher instructions is having a very negative effect on her other peers.
Charlotte's teacher has become frustrated with the constant disruptions and is becoming worried about Charlotte's and the rest of the class's learning. Oh, hi, Mrs. Generic last name. This is Ryan Sainer from Generic High School. I'm Charlotte's teacher in science. I'm just calling in regards to her behaviour lately. It's just been a bit out of control. Yeah, again. She's just been acting up a little, not following my instructions. Yeah, she's just been showing a lot of aggression towards me as well. It's really concerning. Because of this, he has arranged a meeting with the school's wellbeing counsellor and year leader to discuss behaviour management strategies for Charlotte that will help her both in and out of the classroom. Alright, thanks for meeting me here today. I just want to talk about Charlotte. In the science class, she's been showing a lot of poor behaviours like frustration and aggression towards me. She's been not following my instructions, really disruptive to a lot of the other students as well. I just think I need some help with dealing with that.
Yeah. We've also noticed her having these behaviours in other classes and in other areas around the school, so just
it's a growing thing. So we know Charlotte has ADHD, so these behaviours can be explained from that diagnosis. In terms of getting Charlotte the help that she needs and bringing her back to engagement in the classroom, how about we start looking at some strategies that could help her in the classroom and also in the school as a whole? Do you
know with differentiated instruction, she might be able to follow along better and stay a bit more engaged with the topics. So we'll discuss that with the wider
teaching staff.
Teaching staff.
Yeah, so that she's got some support in each of her classes. Do you have anything that you think might work for her?
Well, in my class, I've been trialling this target card system. So you know how we have our school-wide bronze awards?
Yeah.
Well, I thought a means for her to achieve that award. We have our target card, and if she does a good lesson, she gets a stamp or a sticker.
Yeah.
She gets to 10, and she gets a bronze award. I think that's a good goal setting.
Yeah, and it's really visual for her to see where she's progressing.
Yeah. So
that's really
in
cool.
its early stages, we're hoping that she picks up on that.
Yeah, and then maybe in the future we could expand that to work in her other classes too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds like a great idea.
And then maybe in terms of her frustration and aggression, we also need to manage that. So we could potentially give her a timeout pass. This has worked quite well in other schools where students get.
Charlotte appears to start the work but quickly loses focus and becomes distracted by things irrelevant to the content being taught. When questioned about the work or prompted to stay on task, she becomes defensive or agitated. A strategy to assist Charlotte with task completion is to provide her with differentiated tasks where the activity is broken into more manageable sections. This should make classwork seem less overwhelming and give her a better chance of completing the set tasks.
In children and adolescents with an attention deficit, the working memory functionality is lower than that of children who do not suffer from a neurological disorder. So expecting a child or young person to have the same functionality as a person who does not have ADHD is unreasonable. The AITSL Professional Standards for Teachers requires teachers to know their students and how they learn, to differentiate teaching to meet the specific learning needs of students across a full range of abilities, and to know the content and how to teach it.
Charlotte has been consistently having academic issues regarding task completion. Her disruptions to the classroom have been severely impacting on her ability to complete both classwork and homework, and ultimately her non-completion of work in class is making her fall behind, as well as negatively contributing to the work ethic of the remainder of the class. Charlotte's behavioural and academic issues have been affecting the well-being and education of herself, her teachers, and her school community. During class time, Charlotte is constantly distracted by either eating and playing on her phone or causing distractions by standing on tables and demanding attention. Causes of her disengagement in classwork could be that children with ADHD are often less fluent in oral and silent reading and can be slower at processing some information, as well as children with ADHD are often unable to control their activity level. Charlotte's teachers are also finding it increasingly difficult to manage her behaviour in the classroom as it takes away from the lesson.
Thermic reactions. So that's hot and cold reactions. Has anyone heard these terms before?
Hello, everyone!
Charlotte?
I'm here!
Do you have a note?
In turn, affecting the work ethic of the rest of the class. Self-monitoring strategies like audio-taped cues and student checklists have been known to improve on-task behaviour, specifically for individuals with ADHD. Implementing things like a hit the target card could help Charlotte be more aware of her priorities in class. This card could have a checklist of work completed and be an insightful measure of behavioural improvement. Teachers would sign the card at the end of the lesson, commenting on Charlotte's attitude toward the lesson and her completion of classwork, hopefully encouraging her to complete more tasks to gain more positive feedback. After achieving 10 merits, stickers or stamps, Charlotte would be provided with a Bronze Award, a school-wide implementation, which encourages good behaviour and classwork.
So, I did my work. Can I get another sticker, please?
Very good. I think you've earned it today. You're up to 8 now. Only 2 more and you get your Bronze Award. You're doing a really great job, Charlotte. Keep it up. Prevention rather than intervention is ideal in classroom behaviour management, and teachers often feel more rewarded when their students are safe, happy and learning well. Therefore, it is important for teachers to know their students and how they learn. Being aware of students' body language is an effective way teachers can judge their students' current emotional status and prevent imminent emotional outbursts or other disruptions before they occur. Voluntary timeout passes have been used in schools as a behaviour management plan for individual students who are prone to emotional outbursts or frequent disruptive behaviour. Students with a pass are given the opportunity to develop their self-awareness and emotional intelligence, as they are encouraged to request a timeout from the classroom when they feel themselves becoming aggravated or unsettled. When it comes to aggressive behaviours in adolescents, there are numerous possible issues that may be the underlying cause of such behaviours. Creating and maintaining a positive student-teacher relationship is a great way to navigate these causes and minimise aggressive behaviours, but there are other strategies teachers can use if they haven't been able to form such a relationship. Research shows that adolescents can often emulate or imitate the behaviours they witness in the people around them. For instance, if a teacher is consistently displaying anger or frustration towards a troubled student when trying to maintain control of their classroom, this is likely to exacerbate aggressive behaviours in that student and make the situation worse.
It is therefore imperative that teachers are able to maintain a calm and reasonable presence, as students are more likely to reflect those behaviours if they are exposed to them more often. This strategy has been found to show promising results, but every situation is different when dealing with unique individual students, so teachers need to be prepared to be flexible in their approach if they are to be successful in employing this strategy.
School-wide positive behaviour support is a whole school approach to managing difficult behaviours, and the implementation of such a system requires training and coordination. However, when implemented effectively, can go further in ensuring the success and well-being of all students and teachers in the school. Some key features of SWPBS include establishing a common philosophy and purpose, with a clearly defined and explicit set of expected behaviours in the form of a code of conduct, with consequences that are fair and procedural to discourage inappropriate behaviour. Schools review data on repeated behaviour issues, the settings in which they occur, and the consequences most likely to be applied for inappropriate behaviours. They correlate these with other sources of data, such as academic progress, and analyse this data to make necessary adjustments to school operations in an effort to reduce inappropriate behaviour. Schools will then establish systems to support staff to adopt evidence-based instructional practices associated with reductions in inappropriate behaviour.
Involving parents on these issues could also promote positive behaviours towards task completion. According to Pfeiffer and Hack 2014, home-focused treatments provide additional components which enhance generalisation to other settings, meaning that parental support could aid in the academic improvement of Charlotte. In our scenario, Charlotte's parents have been very supportive in acknowledging the difficulties that come with having ADHD in schools. In combination with the Hit the Target card, parents would also be providing positive reinforcement by offering an incentive to work hard and stay on task, for example with ice cream or a toy, some sort of incentive. By combining the home and school fronts together, Charlotte is receiving encouragement from the major support systems in her life, thus improving in all areas of school life.
Since implementing the teaching and learning strategies, Charlotte's teachers have noticed a significant improvement in her classroom and playground behaviours. Her mother is relieved, as this means less negative phone calls home, and through combined efforts made by herself and the school, Charlotte's overall attitude to learn, socialise with peers and do well in the classroom and at home have contributed to an overall positive personality with a willingness to succeed. Charlotte still experiences occasional outbursts, however, with the implementation of the Time Out Pass, she is more aware of her surroundings and how they impact her emotions. She is better able to self-regulate in minor instances and knows when to remove herself from aggravating situations. The next goal for Charlotte is to further develop emotional control and general capability skills that will assist her in the 21st century.